This is DZR in JWP, a discussion of danzan-ryu jiu-jitsu topics using the JWP Japanese word processor. I'm your host, Professor George Arrington, the editor of the danzan-ryu jiu-jitsu homepage, www.danzan.com. This is the first of a series of videos about martial arts vocabulary. And what better place to start than anatomy, the parts of the body. And actually, we're going to split this up into two videos. Part 1 and Part 2 will be both about anatomy. Since there are just so many terms, I didn't want to fit them into all into one video. Okay, so let's get started right away. Okay, the word for head is atama. Atama. And the kanji for that, that's the hiragana. So what I'll do is I'll be writing the hiragana first and then writing the kanji next. So atama, and it looks like that. Okay? So that is head, atama. Now brain is similar to that, and you'll see why. It is zuno, like that. And when we look at the kanji for that, it becomes clear why that's similar. You see it uses part of the head there. Okay, so these two characters mean zuno, and we can double check with our dictionary, and we see that it says head or brains or intellect. Okay, and for the head, I'll select that one, and we'll look at the dictionary there as well. And this also means head or brains. So that's head. All right, face is said kao, kao, ka, o. That's ka and that's o. So kao. And when we look at the kanji for that, that's what it looks like. Okay. Face or person. Okay. And you can see some of the interesting usages of that. An acquaintance, a familiar face, if you will. Okay. Nose. Nose can be said in a couple of different ways. One way is hana. Hana. When we do hana, we may find some other characters that mean hana as well. This one actually means flower, but so that's not what we want. We want to use this character for hana, and it can mean for nose. It can mean nose or snout, and it can be read as hana or as in b. Okay. So that is that one. Alrighty. Let's move down. Eyes. Now an eye is me. Okay, and when we look at the kanji for that, there are a couple of different kanji for eye. You can use that character, which means actually eyeball, and also can be pronounced gan. Okay, some of you in danzan-ryu understand a technique called gan hazushi, but gan or me, and also me can be, oops, let's go back one, me can look like this one as well. So that's also I, but it's also pronounced moku, as in mokuroku. Okay? So me or moku or boku also. So that's I as well. Okay? But when you're talking about the physical eye, usually we use this one right here for me or gan. Okay? And I'll just throw in there gan so we can see that. There you go. Okay, next one is ear. Nimi. Nimi is ear. And actually, let's do the hiragana first. Nimi. And then the kanji. All right, there is Mimi. Okay, and that means ear. Okay. Next is hair, and hair. I include this because there's some techniques in our system that use grabbing the hair, specifically osaigami jime, and there we say gami, but when we look it up in the dictionary, we want to use the word kami, and that becomes that. Okay, so that's a picture of someone with long hair, long flowing hair is where that comes from in the original Chinese character. Okay, hair of the head. All right. So there you go. Neck. We've seen this before in some of the other videos. Kubi. Kubi is the neck. Okay, let me pull that back up. So this is the neck. All right, Kubi. The next one, I throw this one in here because we often deal with techniques that involve manipulation of the bones, and bone is kotsu, kotsu. That's ko and su. So we go kotsu, and that's what bone looks like. Skeleton, bone, remains, frame. Okay. So that is our character for bone. All right, shoulder. Shoulder. Shoulder is kata. Kata. Kata looks like this. That actually is the kata for a form. Like if you're doing a karate kata or a nagi no kata, that is the kanji for form. So that's not the one we're looking for. The one we're looking for shoulder is that. Okay, that is shoulder. I will bring up the character information screen, and we can see kata, kata there. Kata. Or ken also, ken. But we normally say kata. And as I've said in the past, you got to be careful with going from the sound of the Japanese to the kanji, because there may be many. Kata can mean shoulder. It can mean form. It can mean one of a pair, as in katate hazushi. It can also mean direction, as in another character that I won't show right now. But anyway, so that's kata or shoulder. Okay, arm. We've seen this one in other videos. Ude, ude, and that looks like this. Ude. All right, and Control I will pull up the character info button. It means arm, but it also means ability. So sometimes when we're talking about ability or talent, you'll see that they use this character for the ability to do something. Arm or ude, ude. Okay. Okay. And as I said in a previous video, a lot of the body part words use this radical, this bushu. It looks like moon, but it's actually the niku radical for meat. Okay, so a lot of the body parts are made of meat. So there you go. All right, the next one, armpit. Armpit is waki. Waki. And so we go waki. And here again we see the meat radical, the niku radical, and this is armpit or waki, waki. The way I remember it, there's always funny ways of remembering things. Each one of these is the character, the symbol for power. So the most powerful part of the body is the armpit. I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. But anyway, so waki is armpit. Okay. Elbow. Elbow. The elbow is hiji. Hiji. Okay? And the character for that is that guy. Actually, that is elbow, but more frequently we use this character for elbow. Okay, the other one can be used as well, but this one is the one which is most often used for elbow. Okay, so you have your niku radical and then this piece here. Okay, so that is elbow. Now, in general, joints like the elbow and the knee and the wrist and other joints go by the term kansetsu. Kansetsu. Okay, type that. Kansetsu. And the characters for kansetsu look like that. Okay? That means kansetsu. Kansetsu means, and I'll pull up the dictionary since it's a multiple kanji. The joints, the knee joint, the elbow joint, and so forth. That's kansetsu. Okay, and then you can see some of the other terms in here: rheumatoid arthritis, and actually, look at this. This says kansetsu waza. That's the character for waza. We'll look at that in another video. Locking technique in judo. How about that? So, kansetsu. Individually, those characters mean, that means a connection or barrier. And this one means node or season or verse. So, you know, knuckle, a joint, there you go, there's a joint. So those together are kansetsu, or joints. Okay, forearm, we've seen that before. Kote, which is hiragana first. Kote, and the kanji for that, the two kanji for that are kote. Our dictionary gives that as down here, the second one, kote, forearm, and it literally means small hand, And sometimes we use kote for the wrist as opposed to the forearm, but we normally the correct term is the forearm for the kote. Especially in some systems where we talk about kotegaeshi, that's the turning over of the wrist. Okay, and so we use that. All right. Since we're talking about wrist, the normal term for wrist is tekubi, and from a previous video you may remember that tekubi literally means the hand neck. Okay, and together they mean the wrist. Okay, tekubi is wrist. Okay, almost done. Hand, we've seen this many times, is te, and the kanji for that is that one, te. Okay. Now that can also be read as shu. So I'm going to put down also here shu. Okay. Shu. As in shuto, or hand sword, or hand blade. Shuto, in that case it's hand. Or another place we've used it is akushu. a handshake. So that's a kanji that has two different pronunciations, and or a couple of different pronunciations. That is hand, which is pronounced either te or shu. Alrighty, and then the last one in this series is finger, and that one is yubi. Yubi. Yubi looks like this. Okay, finger. Okay, and it can mean finger, but it can also mean pointing to. And one interesting one that's in here, let's see, yubi should be she. Yes, she right there. So this can also be written as she. So sometimes some words dealing with fingers has to do or uses the pronunciation of she. One interesting one is the term shinan, which means to point to the south, and that's a term used for military commanders, the shinan. And sometimes we think of that as a martial arts master, the shinan, but it's actually a military term. But that's a finger pointing to the south. So yubi, or she, looks like that character there. Okay, that's all the time for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.